Today we're going to go over creating an Nextjs application and using AWS Amplify in order to set it up in AWS as a serverless application. As we can see in Google, AWS has announced support for amplifying Nextjs apps. So let me show you the article right here. There we go. They have both statically generated applications and server-side rendering applications, and they also have continuous integration and delivery out of the box, which is really cool, and it's overall a really pleasant experience. So in today's video we're going to set up a Nextjs application, use Amplify to upload it to AWS. We're going to hook that up with NextAuth for authentication. We're going to hook it up with Prisma, and we're going to hook up to DigitalOcean deployed database, and we're going to add Google Authentication. So let's just get started, I guess. I'm going to go to the folder where I keep many of my projects, and I'm just going to create a new one. So here I've submitted an issue right here several days ago, and last night this guy came up with the solution to the problem I was facing, because I was having problems with the Prisma in the Lambda environment, and it turns out it's just this option that we need to put in the next config in order to make it work, and it's really nice. But I'm just going to be referencing to this issue so that we have the steps easy to use, etc. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a Next application using this command. And we're going to actually follow the steps from here. All right, yeah. Let's create it Next Amplify. And now the create next app is going to scaffold a TypeScript-based next application using the latest versions, the latest dependencies, and so on. So now I'm going to go ahead and log into my AWS account. It's my personal AWS account. Let me just I think that was it. No. So as you see, you need to have an AWS account. You need to have connected your payment card for that, because after all, they are paid services. And now I'm going to go to Amplify and just check if I have anything, because I don't remember if I have anything. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is an application I helped a friend of mine to build. So yeah, now let's go ahead and see if the next app has been initialized. It hasn't yet. So in order to initialize Amplify, you need to have the Amplify CLI installed. So you can just Google that and do it yourself. I'm not going to be showing it in this video. And then using the Amplify CLI, we're just going to follow these steps to set it up. In the meantime, we should go ahead and create a new repository that we're going to hook up with Amplify, because Amplify provides us with continuous integration and delivery pipeline out of the box, and that's based on a repository. And whenever you push to that repository, the whole pipeline is going to get triggered. So let's go ahead and create a repository. Next, Amplify. I'm just going to add the MIT license, and we're good to go. Now I'm just going to clone this in some different folder, for example, test. Now I'm going to go to that folder, open the Explorer there, and I'm going to copy these two files. Then I'm going to go back to the next Amplify directory, open the Explorer here, and delete this Git folder that comes up initially, and paste the files that we just copied. Okay, now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open that with Git extensions. Um, next Amplify. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to just commit the initial next created application. Fucking hell. Okay. Let's just push. Okay. So now we've created it, and it's initialized in our repository. So now we're going to come here, and we're going to run amplify init, and we're going to follow along steps that we have here. Okay, next amplify, yes, no, name for the environment, def, Visual Studio Code, JavaScript, React, source, distribution directory path, we need to type in .next. Build commands, we can just press enter, start command, enter, that's it. Oh no, wait a second. AWS access keys. So now we actually need to check out our we need to go here in our AWS account. We need to go to IAM, go to users. I'm going to add a new one. Next Next Amplify, for example, we need to have programmatic access. We're going to attach the administrator access policy. And that's it. We're creating the user now. And I'm going to just copy my access key, paste it here, and my secret access key, and paste it here. I'm going to choose US East 1. And that's it. Now Amplify is being initialized. Now we need to wait a bit. And then we're going to see our application appear in the Amplify service right here. But yeah, we need to just wait a bit. In the meantime, we can actually go to go ahead and open Visual Studio Code and start doing some other stuff in the meantime. So we're going to be adding NextAuth to handle the authentication. We're going to be adding Prisma. So we also gonna need to have Prisma CLI installed globally. I already have that. So even if you don't have it, you can use the lovely npx command, which will actually use a library from npm, its latest version, without you having to actually have that library installed, which is super cool. So we can just say npx prisma init in our root directory. And that's it. We have Prisma, our Prisma schema right here. And now we can go to NextAuth. Documentation, adapters, Prisma. There we go. And we can just copy this code here. We need to do these npm installs. Let me just save them in the package JSON. Oh, Amplify has initialized. So now we can actually see our Amplify application show up here. Now the next thing we need to do, we need to come to front-end environments, and we need to go to GitHub, and we need to connect our branch. It asked us to authorize our GitHub account, and now we can select our repository and our main branch here. We click next. We choose the dev environment. We have no service roles here, so let's go ahead and create one. Select use case. Yes, I guess just go with the defaultly chosen options that AWS has already pre-selected for you, and just go next. Yep, seems fine. And we're ready with our role. Now we can come here, press the refresh button, and now we're going to see our role here. This is our YML file that configures our build and continuous integration and everything. So we're just going to edit that later though. For now, just press next. So we don't care about anything else, and we just save and deploy. That way, we have now hooked up our branch, our repository, with the Amplify application. And as you can see, it's just started building. And usually a build takes around 10 minutes, maybe 10.5 minutes. So we'll have to wait a bit to see our build. In the meantime, we're going to close this window for start. Come here, and we installed our dependencies here. NextAuth, Prisma adapter, Prisma client, NextAuth. They're also recommending to install Prisma as a dev dependency, but I don't think. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. And now we're going to go into the pages folder, API, and we're going to create this file right here. But instead of .js, it's going to be .ts because we're using TypeScript after all. And we're going to just go ahead and copy the contents of this file. Okay. Now we need to copy the Prisma schema related things. So these are the models that NextAuth needs. Since we're using TypeScript, we need to do this. So here we have our database connection URL. We're going to be replacing that soon. So let's see. Now that we've done all that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the Google Developer Console. I think it was that one. I'm going to use some other email. And here I'm going to need to create a new project. I'm going to name it Next Amplify. In the meantime, I'll have to stop doing anything for a minute and just grab my charger. Okay, so now that we've created our project, we're going to go ahead and create new credentials. We're going to need OAuth client ID, application type, web application, Next Amplify client. For the authorized JavaScript origins, we're going to put local hosts. I think it was 3000. Yeah. And authorized redirect URLs, we're going to put local hosts 3000. API of redirect, I think it was. Where can we read about that actually? Configuration, providers, OAuth, callback. Oh, there we go. So we need to have our origin API of callback slash, for example, Google. So this is what we need here. Oh shit. Damn. Console Google. Come on, what's going on? Like, the fuck? I don't want to go to the dashboard, I want to go to the project. How do I go there? Okay. Create client ID. Need to configure OAuth consent screen first. External app name, next Amplify user support. Just going to use my email, domain, blah blah blah. I'm going to use my email as well. Save and continue. Nonsense this goes, since this goes. I don't care about that. Test users, don't care about that. Summary. Okay. So now let's go ahead and create credentials. OAuth client ID, application type, web application. Next next Amplify client. Authorized JavaScript origins, HTTP localhost 3000. HTTP localhost 3000. AP of callback Google. Create. And now we need to copy these things. Go to the environment and declare them as environment variables. So Google Client ID and Google Client Secret. Our application hasn't built yet. Okay. Now, what else did we need? We need to set up our NextAuth redirect URL. Introduction. Getting started. Yeah, I need to do this as well when we're deploying to production. So for now, I'm going to put our AWS URL right here. I'm guessing without this trailing flash. Okay. In the meantime, let's go ahead and create a new database in DigitalOcean. PostgreSQL data center. I'm going to choose like San Francisco 3, for example. Yeah, that's fine. Create a database cluster. Now let's take our hosts. Put it here. FoldDB. Username doadmin. And password testing here. Okay. What else do we need? Maybe that's it for now. Maybe that's all we need. So the next thing we need to do in this issue, in the reproduction steps that I've described, we need to copy this binary targets in the Prisma client. This is regarding serverless and so on, so these ones are important as far as I'm concerned. You can check that out in the Prisma documentation actually. And I think that's all. Now let's go ahead and go to our Amplify application environment variables. So here we're going to add our environment variables. So let's copy them from here, database URL. Google Client ID. Google Client Secret. By the way, our application should have deployed by now. There we go. We can now see that we have the application deployed, so everything is fine. Okay, we've added our variables. Let's go ahead and save them. And now comes the really important part. Now, in order to provide these environment variables to our Lambda functions and so on, because otherwise it just cannot find them. We need to go to our build settings and we need to edit our Amplify YML file. And here we need to, I'm just going to copy this from my issue that I've created. We need this thing right here. We need to put it, I think, here for the build. Okay. So now for every variable that we have, we need to just do this. So let me show you. We're just going to say, oh shit, cannot see anything. Database URL equals to $database URL. We're going to do that for the rest of our environment variables as well. Okay, and save it. And now we actually need to redeploy, but let's not do that just yet. Okay. npx Prisma Studio. Let's just run this command to see if everything is going to load, if we can connect to our DigitalOcean database and so on. Yes. Huh. Oh, yeah. I know what I've missed. So here I've forgotten to put the 5432 port. Let's try again. Maybe I just need to run the migration first, because I'm trying to open a table that does not exist in the database. Alright. Oh shit, I'm so dumb. The port is actually this one, so it should be fine. Let's just try it once more, but we still have to run the migration. Where was it? Oh yeah, adapters. Prisma. npx Prisma migrate def. Okay. Now the error should be, yeah, we cannot open this table because it does not exist. Okay. Let's close this. And let's run npx Prisma migrate def. Now this should create these tables for each model of our schema Prisma. It's going to create a table in our database and hook everything up. And it should always create a migration file here. But enter name for the new migration. NextAuth models. Now we have our migrations here. Generate. It regenerated our Prisma client. And now if we go ahead and run npx Prisma Studio, and we open this, yeah, we're able to open the table. So now our database has all of these tables created, everything is fine, and we've connected our Google provider, we've put our environment variables. So yeah, let's try it out. npm run start. npm run def actually. Okay, let's go to localhost 3000. This is our next application. Okay, so let's go to Prisma. I mean NextAuth Prisma steps, and go to getting started actually. So shared session. Okay, we need to copy this and replace our app.tsx file with this. Provider. Props. Session provider props. I think that was it. No, app props. Yeah, this is it. We need this session provider with NextAuth. And now our index we're going to replace with this backend API route. No, I actually want front end with React hook. Let's just get rid of all this and replace it with this. Session.user. Okay, there we go. Now we should be able to authenticate. Let's see for errors. To refresh. What session bad requests? I'm not sure what's going on. Why are we getting that error? Really strange. Let's Google this error. I haven't seen that before. Oh, yeah. I've forgotten to create the auth folder, and I need to move this file over here. Okay, recompile, refresh. Everything is fine. Let's see if we can authenticate with Google. Oh, yeah. That happened because here in the environment file, we've put our Amplify deployed app URL. I'm just going to copy that for now. I'm just going to put localhost 3000 like this, and I have to restart the next app. Refresh, sign in. Yay! It works. It works flawlessly. Okay, so the last step is to actually push our changes, but before we push them and see it actually deployed in AWS and working fine, we need to do one last thing. We need to go to our Google console, edit our client here, and we are going to replace this with this thing, and we're going to replace this with this thing, like this. Okay. By the way, we can now open our Prisma Studio to verify that our tables have now our accounts. Yeah, there we go. Now we have everything working properly. Let's go ahead and close this. And before I commit, I'm just going to add my .env file, the VS Code and Amplify folders as part of my git ignore. Actually, yeah. Do we need this folder? I don't think we do. I'm just going to add it down here. So amplify.vs code and .env. There we go. Okay. Let's commit and push our changes. Added Prisma, NextAuth, and configured Google as an OAuth provider. I guess that's all. And now, once that thing builds, we should be able to authenticate from our serverless environment, and everything should work fine. So I'm going to pause this video for 10 minutes because that's how much it takes, and after 10 minutes I'm going to restart it and I'm going to show you whether everything works fine or not. I assume it will. So that's pretty much it. We've done everything. As you can see, it's a super nice stack. You have a full stack um, application using the latest technologies, using Prisma, using NextAuth. We've chosen to use NextAuth because it has so many providers that we can use. It has Google, Twitter, Facebook, and so many others. But most importantly, Twitter, because if we would go ahead and use AWS Cognito pools, for example, um, and federated providers from AWS, they actually don't support Twitter, which is a big no-go because, like, who wouldn't support Twitter? Like, this is one of the largest social networks. So that's why we're using NextAuth, and everything is really cool with it. So yeah, in my opinion, this is one of the best stacks nowadays, I would say, that employs the best technologies, and it's really easy to set up. And the general thing, like, is that you initialize your application with Amplify once, and then everything just works. You don't have to deal with other AWS services. You don't have to deal with anything. You just connect whatever you need to. Like, you can connect to whatever database. You can do pretty much whatever. You're not dependent entirely on AWS. You just use Amplify once, and that's it. After that, you just code. So I'm pretty much in love with this stack. Oh, one super important thing that I've forgotten. Um, this is why I created that issue over here, because I was having this problem. No such file or directory with Prisma. So in order to fix that, I was scratching my head and looking around for several days, but I'm not that advanced, so I was not able to actually come up with a proper solution. But last night, this guy helped by giving me this command. So we need to, this is actually a configuration that we put in our next config.js file. So we need to put that in order for our Prisma to work in our AWS environment. This is something super important that I've missed. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and cancel my current build. And I'm going to commit this setting, next config setting for Prisma, in order to make it work in the serverless AWS Lambda environment. Okay, that's it.